Hi yogis, welcome to my Yoga Times pregnancy class. I'm Nicole. So no, I'm currently not pregnant. However, through both of my pregnancies, I did teach and practice right up to 38 weeks and again shortly after pregnancy. And I also filmed a pregnancy DVD back in 2013 when I was 26 weeks pregnant with my daughter. So for this class, I ask that you have 2 blocks close by if you have them at home, if you're lucky enough to have a bolster that as well. Otherwise, you can improvise with a pillow and also some rolled up towels. And I ask that you be close to a wall for this practice as well. So when you're ready, we're going to start in reclined butterfly pose. So if you've got your blocks, using those, otherwise you might choose to use your pillow or your rolled up towel. I'm going to make a T shape with the blocks and having one in between the shoulders and one across the back of the head. So up to you how high you take the blocks, depends on how you're feeling in your back. I'm just going to have the blocks on the flat side for today. So when you're ready, lay yourself down. The block in between the shoulders should finish at the top of the shoulders and then the one under the head. And if you find that this is too strong, you can always take the block underneath the head a little higher, or if you want to go deeper, take both blocks to the second height. So if it feels okay for your hips, if there's no pain through the back of the hips, your sacroiliac joint, then bring the soles of the feet together and let the knees fall out, coming into butterfly pose. So if you do have any discomfort through the back of the hips, through that sacroiliac joint, you can still take this upper back bend and simply keep the knees bent, let them fall in together, or straighten and relax the legs. Arms can be by your side. Feel free to let the fingers naturally curl or connect index finger and thumbs for chin mudra. And just relaxing the forehead. Letting the eyes roll back. And position the tip of your tongue where the teeth meet the roof of the mouth. Keeping a little space between the top and bottom teeth. And begin to observe your body moving with the breath. As you breathe down into your navel, you should feel bulb rise as you inhale. A moment to pause, and then as you exhale slowly, feeling the navel and bulb fall towards the spine. It's almost as though you're rocking your baby with your breath. And when the mind wanders, just coming back to the breath, moving the body. You might even visualize the breath surrounding the baby, protecting your baby. You might see the breath just as white light, or maybe you're drawn to a pink or blue. Let's take 3 more here. And let's turn those palms down, bring the knees together. Just rolling off your towel or your blocks, whatever prop you're using, and come onto your side. Use your arm as a pillow, or prop your head up. So we're keeping our left knee bent, and if you've got your block, place it there, otherwise your pillow. Then your right leg is straight. Try and tuck the right toes under so the heel points up to the ceiling. Take the leg back just a little bit and then bend the knee and collect the foot. If you can't reach the foot, you could always hold onto a strap around the foot, holding the strap. So this is a very safe back bend to practice when pregnant because there's plenty of room for bub here. Do try to tuck your tailbone under a little. Feel as though you're hugging bub up towards the spine. Let's stay here for 3 breaths. Checking the position of your tongue. And with your third exhalation, relax the right leg down. And we're going to take a hold of the left leg. So you might just hold onto the leg, or maybe you can reach the foot, and we'll extend that leg up towards the ceiling. So if you do have the foot, create a little bit of resistance between the foot and hand. Otherwise, just holding onto the leg wherever you can reach. Breathing into both legs. And then as you exhale, start to lower that left leg down. We're going to roll over to the other side, so take your prop with you. Supporting your head with your left hand, resting your right knee on the prop. Straighten your left leg and begin to rotate the leg, so heel points up to the ceiling. When you're ready, take a hold of the foot or using your strap. And again, try to tuck the tailbone under. Try to remove that sway in the low back if you can. One more deep inhalation here. And then as you exhale, release the left leg down. Taking a hold of your right leg now, wherever you can hold, and extend the leg up towards the ceiling. Inhale, and as you exhale, slowly lower down. And bending in both knees, pushing yourself up to seated. Just coming into a comfortable cross-legged position. And we'll take our hands to the knees, just making some circular motions through the pelvis. So inhale to come forward and exhale to lean back. So only practice what feels good. So throughout your pregnancy is not a time to push through and achieve. It's a time to nurture your changing body as it grows this beautiful baby inside. It's exhausting. So you might find that one day you can practice the whole class in its entirety, but next week you're only able to pull apart bits and pieces of the class that feel good, and that is okay. Let's change directions. And coming back to center. So just a little breath work here. I'll get you to take Chin Mudra, connecting index finger and thumbs, and we'll close the eyes down. If you feel a little tight in the hips, you can always sit yourself up on your pillow or your block. So tip of the tongue still placed where the teeth meet the roof of the mouth. As you inhale, feel the breath descend down to your base. Allow your navel to expand and bub to rise. Then as you exhale, let's lift the pelvic floor. Maintain this lift all the way through the exhalation. And as you inhale, relax and soften these muscles. Be receptive to the breath. As you exhale, find that tone. So it feels as though the breath is descending on the inhalation and ascending on the exhalation. Two more breaths. Keeping the jaw relaxed. And after your second breath, you can relax the hands and open the eyes. Let's bring both hands to the side, left ear to the left shoulder, either staying as you are or take the left arm up and over so that the middle finger is at the tip of the ear. Don't push your head down, look to lengthen through the neck so you're tractioning. You should feel a nice spacious lengthening from the jaw to the collarbone. If you'd like to go a little deeper, just float those right fingertips off the floor. And let's inhale, come back to center. Bring both arms out to the side and cross the left arm over the right. Now option one, you'll just bend your right arm and draw your left shoulder down. Create a little bit of resistance between those arms. Option two, bend your left elbow as well and take a bind. So your right fingertips will meet your left palm. If you're in the second option, then do press the forearms together and bring your shoulders down. Take the breath into the upper back and shoulders. And let's release. Other side, right ear to the shoulder. Option to take your right arm up and overhead. Option to float those left fingertips. Be careful not to push the head down. Look to lift and lengthen. And coming back to center, arms out to the side, crossing right arm over the left this time. Option to keep right arm straight or take the bind. So obviously if there's discomfort in your shoulder, you would keep the arm straight. And release. From here, take your left leg out, 45-degree angle, sole of the right foot to meet the thigh. We'll take a side bend, right arm up and over. Feel free to look down and try to round out your lower back here. Take your breath into the right side waist. Any concerns with your right wrist, stay here for an extra breath. Otherwise, lifting up, and we'll take a little back bend, right hand behind you as you send your hips forward. And lower down. So from here, we're going to pick up the right leg. Now, depending on how far you've progressed through your pregnancy, you might be holding on to the foot and knee. If you don't have much room, if you've got a little room to pull in that leg a little closer, you can hook the foot and knee around the elbows and just rocking the leg side to side. So it's a good one to bring a little more mobility into the hip joints. And throughout your pregnancy, we are focusing on opening up the hips, preparing for childbirth. And let's release. We'll change sides. Take the right leg out on a 45-degree angle. Bring the left foot to meet the thigh. Coming into your side bend. Rounding out through the lower back and breathing into the left side waist. From here, lifting up only if there's no concerns with your left wrist. Find your little back bend. And lower down. If it feels okay for your hip, we'll take a hold of the left leg, either holding onto the knee and the foot, or wrapping the arms around the leg. And let's lower down. Coming onto all fours now, onto hands and knees, and take your knees back so they're not quite underneath the hips. And begin to make a circular motion, so inhaling forward and exhaling back. So there's no right or wrong way of doing this. Do what feels good. You might find a little swivel through the hips. You might like to lean forward a little bit more. Changing directions. And coming back to neutral. Just bring those hands in now so they're underneath the shoulders and the knees are underneath the hips. So extending your right leg behind you, toes pointing down, and notice if you're arching through the low back. Try to tuck the tailbone under and hug bum up towards your spine. So using your core here. Try and draw the shoulders back without arching the back, and keep looking down to the mat so your neck is in line with the spine. So this might be enough for you, or if it feels okay, you can extend left arm out in front. Keeping the jaw relaxed. Notice how the jaw tenses when we start to challenge the body. And as you exhale, lower left hand down. Take your right foot over to the left, look over your shoulder, pressing into the hands, the hip and the heel. Well done, and release. We're going to take that right leg out to the right, so I'll just turn around here. So right leg is now out to the right, toes pointing forward, and walk your hands over to your left. So you might choose to place your block underneath your left hand, or maybe you can comfortably reach the floor, coming into our gate pose. So feel free to look down, send your left hip forward, and try to create space in the body with your breath. So if you find that when you come into a position that you can't take a full breath, just check that you're not pushing too hard. Well done, and release. Let's return to our tabletop position. And this time we'll take the left leg behind you, toes pointing down, hugging bum up towards the spine. If you did so on the other side, right arm out in front. Lower right hand down, take the left leg over to the right, looking over your shoulder towards the heel. And taking that left leg out to the left now, spin around once again. So toes are pointing forward, walk your hands over to the right, coming into your side bend, your gate pose, looking down. And release, well done. Return to your tabletop position. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips, toes curling under. Inhale into a little back bend. And as you exhale, begin to round the spine. We'll do one more of those. And this time as you round, take the hips up and back into a downward facing dog. From here, walk your hands back towards your feet Bending in the knees, take the feet wider than the hips if you need to, depending on where you are in your pregnancy, and rolling up to standing. So you will find as bub grows in your practice, you'll need to take those feet a little bit wider and a little bit wider. So modify as you need to. Don't fix to how you think your body should be looking or feeling in the practice. Be with wherever you are today. So from here, I'll get you to have those feet around about hip width apart and bring our hands to the heart center. Be sure to tuck the tailbone under. So even here, tailbone tucks, try and hug bub up towards the spine, just to help to counteract that curvature in the low back. So here, thumbs are touching the sternum, inhale. Then as you exhale, push the palms down, fingertips touch, and as you exhale, lift the pelvic floor. Relax the pelvic floor as you inhale, arms will come up. And exhale, hands back down to the heart center. We're going to do 3 more of those. Let's close the eyes. Inhale at the heart. Fingertips touch, palms push down, pelvic floor lifts. Inhaling, arms up. And exhale, the hands down. Let's go again. Inhale. Be sure to keep the jaw relaxed when you lift the pelvic floor. Last round. Well done, and relax those hands, opening the eyes. So let's come to the top of the mat. We'll move through our modified sun salutation for pregnancy. Arms will come up. As you exhale, bending in the knees, folding forward. Again, have your feet as wide as you need to. Inhale, come halfway up. You might like to take your hands to the knees. Then as you exhale, folding down, both hands on the inside of the right foot as you step your left foot back. So you're coming into our lizard pose. So your lunge will always have the foot on the outside of the hand. As bub gets bigger, you'll run out of room to have the hands either side of the foot. So here, let's try and just squeeze the right foot and the left knee towards one another. Reach the hands back as you take the heart forward. Breathing down into those hips. Well done. Lean down, lean back just a bit as you take your right foot back, coming into a tabletop. Inhale into a little back bend. And as you exhale, round the spine, take the knees wide and big toes touch as you lower down into your child's pose. So forehead meeting the mat, otherwise your block or your towel. Keep the arms in front and let's lift up the elbows and the palms. So just your fingertips touching and gripping those little fingertips into the mat. Try to squeeze the fingertips in towards one another and drawing the shoulders back towards your hips. Well done, ground down through the palms and inhale, coming all the way up, stepping those knees in. Curl the toes under, find your back bend. As you exhale, rounding out the back. Lifting hips up, downward facing dog. And walking those hands back towards the feet. Let's roll up to standing, bending in the knees. Coming all the way up. When you're ready, step to the top of the mat once again. We'll practice that on the other side. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale, half lift. Maybe fingertips are on the floor or hands to the knees. Exhale to bow, step your right foot back, find your lizard pose. So heel toe your left foot a little further to the left, bring your right knee down to the mat. Reach the heart forward. And leaning back, take your left leg back, find your tabletop. Inhale, rounding out the back as you exhale. Step those knees wider, take the hips back, reach those fingertips in front. So you might like to practice what we did just before, or you might like to bring the elbows a little closer. Bend the elbows and bring the hands into prayer above the head. Well done. Lower those hands down if they're in prayer. Let's return to tabletop. Toes tucking under this time. Inhale into your back bend. Exhale to round, lifting hips. And walking those hands back towards the feet. Bending in the knees and rolling up to standing. Well done. So we're going to do a little neck release and practice a downward facing dog against the wall. So have your feet hip width or wider if you need, and bring your hands to the wall so that your body is parallel to the floor. Hands are shoulder width apart. So feel as though you're rounding the outer edges of your armpits down towards the mat. Draw your shoulders back towards your hips. You might feel the feet gently press away from one another here. Be sure to keep hugging bum up towards the spine. Now as you inhale, lift the chin and move the throat forward. So your gaze will come to the wall, maybe your fingertips, it doesn't matter exactly where. Then as you exhale, opposite action, tuck in your chin and move the back of the neck back. Inhale, lift the chin, throat moves forward. Take your gaze a little higher. And exhale, tucking in the chin, moving the back of the neck. Let's do one more. Well done. Bending in those knees and stepping in a little closer to the wall. So staying with the wall now. Stand next to the wall, right hip next to the wall, and take your right arm behind you. So pinky fingers on the wall, palm is facing the ceiling. So have about 10 centimeters between your right foot and the wall. Place your left fingertips just in front. So here again, tailbone tucks and hug bum up towards the spine, because this is also a back bend and we don't want to jam in the low back. There's already enough pressure going on down there. So here, I want you to gently bring your left hip back as you look over your left shoulder. Now, if you feel that you can go deeper, you can just step in closer to the wall. So keep hugging bum up to the spine. This is a lovely chest opening pose, and one I'd encourage you to practice after Bub's born when you're breastfeeding. Really helps to open up the glands. And is said to be therapeutic and helpful in preventing mastitis. And let's release. Well done, ladies. Roll out those shoulders. We'll change sides. So again, feet are hip width apart. You're about 10 centimeters from the wall. Take your left arm behind you and right fingertips in front. Hug bum up to the spine. Send your left hip forward as you look over your right shoulder. If you're going deeper, simply step in a little bit closer. And release, well done. Coming back to the mat, rolling out those shoulders. So from here, let's take our feet nice and wide. Turn the toes out, heels a little more narrow. Goddess pose, arms out to the side. Feel free to take Chin Mudra. And let's bend in the knees, drop the hips. So here you'll notice the lower back wanting to arch. Again, try and tuck the tailbone under and draw bub up. Lift the arches of the feet. Shoulders down. Well done. Lower hands down to the thighs. Sink a little lower if you can and drop your left shoulder forward. Coming back and the right side. Keep alternating with the breath. Last one on the right side. And coming all the way up, strong in the legs, well done. Turn your left toes out to the left and right toes in slightly, so your right foot's not quite parallel to the short side of the mat, just a slight angle. Begin to press those feet away from one another, arms up. Take the hips back as you come down into your triangle pose and just rest your left leg, your left hand on the leg wherever it lands. Right arm up to the ceiling, unless that shoulder's not happy, hand to the low back instead. Feel free to look down, you don't have to look up. Try to press those feet away from one another and tuck your tailbone under. So again, bub up towards the spine and then think of it as an open twist, rotating heart and navel towards the ceiling. Well done, coming all the way up. Bring the hands to the hips and step the feet a little closer together. Step the right leg out. So right toes pointing forward. Turn the left foot on a very slight angle. Begin to press those feet away from one another as you lower down and continue to press those feet away. Tailbone tucks, either looking up to the thumb or down to the toe. And gently turning heart and navel towards the ceiling. Strong in the legs as you come all the way up and lower hands down. Let's step to the top of the mat. So from here, you might like to take your block or your towel if you have it, and option one, take it to the second height just in front of the wall. So we're going to come down into a yogi squat, but we're going to use the wall to help us come down. So ladies, if you are 32 weeks plus and you know that bub is breech, then give this yogi squat a miss. This particular squat can help bub to engage and to get lower, and of course if bub's the wrong way around, we don't want to encourage that just yet. So if that's you, skip this next pose. Otherwise, let's have those feet a bit wider than hip width apart. You can turn the heels in, toes out. Feel free to take the hands to the wall, and as you bend your knees, just walk the hands down the wall. Start to lean into the wall. Looking for your block, so you can sit on your block on the second height, lean back into the wall if you need to. Hands alternatively can press into the knees as you bring the hands to prayer. If you feel that you can go deeper, then of course you can turn your block down to the lowest height. Create just a little bit of resistance between the knees and the elbows, broadening the collarbones. And breathing down into the hips, breathing down into bub. This was a posture that I practiced every day in the last few weeks of pregnancy. to try and encourage things to start moving. Let's take a few more breaths here. Well done, ladies. Release those hands. You might like to take one hand to the wall behind you just to help you come forward, and we'll come down into a seated position. So from here, let's bend our right leg, cross the right leg over the left leg, and take the left hand behind you. Right arm is coming on the inside of the right leg, and you're going to roll onto your left leg only so that your right buttock is off the mat. To help with your stability, you can push your arm into the leg into the arm. Feel free to look over your shoulder. So this is a safe twist to practice when pregnant, as there's no compression around the navel or around the baby. And let's change sides. Release the right leg down, moving to the left. Crossing left leg over, take the right hand behind you, roll onto the right leg, and gently press your left arm into the left leg for stability. And you'll simply deepen your twist by deepening your breath. And let's release. Bending both knees now, holding onto those knees. So having those feet as wide as you need to, holding onto the knees, and having a nice firm grip on those knees. I want you to create even resistance between the hands and the knees. Point the toes to the ceiling and try to pull the heels back. Lift up out of the waist, draw the shoulders down, feel the armpits firm, heart moves forward, chin lift, throat forward. Inhaling now, and as you exhale, begin to round out the back, bring the toes down, heels up. Lift the shoulders to the ears, round as much as you can. And then as you inhale, press down through the heels, firm the armpits, take that grip onto the knees, find your back bend, and exhale to round. Keep moving with the breath. We'll do one more. And release. So coming close to the wall once again, we're going to take our legs up the wall. So this pose is therapeutic for everybody, especially if you've got fluid retention in the legs or you're worried about varicose veins. It's especially good throughout pregnancy for those reasons as well. And it's a really safe inversion to take. So you might choose to lay flat on the floor. You might like to place your pillow underneath your low back, or even if you've got your blocks or your towel, you could do that as well. So it can be a little awkward to get into, especially when we're carrying an extra body. So don't be concerned about how it looks coming down into the pose. Try to have your hip as close to the wall as you can. Then as you bring your shoulder down, you'll maneuver your hips so that your bottom is on the wall. Once the shoulders come down, swing those legs up. And again, you might choose to lay flat or maybe bend the knees, lift the hips and place prop of your choice underneath your low back, and then straightening the legs. Arms can be by your side, out to the side, or above the head. And tuning into the breath once again. You might even feel the breath moving in a wave-like motion. Inhaling from the crown of the head to the soles of the feet. Exhaling from the soles of the feet to the crown of the head. Taking one more breath here. And then bending those knees. If you have a prop, press into the wall, lift the hips and removing the prop. Once you touch down again, take those butterfly legs only if there's no pain in the back of the hips. If there is, keep the knees bent, hip width apart. So while you're here, gently press down through your tailbone. Well done. And bringing those legs back together. So right leg will straighten. We'll take reclined pigeon on the wall. Left ankle to the front of the right leg, either above or below the knee. Here is option 1. If you're quite supple through the hips, you might like to bend the right leg as well, bringing the sole of the right foot to the wall. Just make sure your bottom stays on the mat. Maintain that little arch through your low back. And take the breath into the outer left hip. Of course, if you're feeling a little nauseous here on your back, by all means roll onto your left side and give this pose a miss. Let's change sides, release the left leg. Taking the right foot now to the front of the left leg, either above or below the knee. Option 2, bending the left leg as well, anchoring down through the tailbone. And let's release that right leg, rolling onto your left side. Feel free to take a moment there. When you're ready, pushing up to seated once again. So from here, we'll come down onto our back and have either your pillow, your block, or your towel, or all of the above, close by. When you're ready, lower yourself down. Bending in those knees. Press into the feet as you lift the hips and take your prop underneath your low back. So if it's a block, it might be on the flat side, or if it feels okay for your back, take it to the second height. Arms can be next to the body or above the head. And of course, if you're feeling a little uncomfortable or a little nauseous here, then just roll onto your left side and give this back bend a miss. Feel free to close the eyes down. And just observing bulb rising and falling with the breath. This is a lovely posture to lengthen the back. It also lengthens our digestive organs, the colon. So it's a good one to help stimulate digestion. And just taking one more breath here. On your next inhalation, with those palms down now, pick up the heels and the hips together. Remove your prop and lower down one vertebrae at a time. When you touch down, you might like to take the knees in the hands and just rock from side to side, feeling the meeting points between your back and the mat. When you're ready, lower those feet down. Have the feet as wide as the mat and just walk your feet forward maybe about an inch so that your shins are on a diagonal. Arms out to the side. As you exhale, let your knees fall down to the left. And with your next inhalation, lift the left leg only. The right leg will follow. Inhaling those knees back to center and exhaling over to the right side. As you begin to inhale, move the right leg first, left leg will follow. Exhaling down to the left. So move slowly. You might have the urge to turn the head the opposite direction of the knees. When your knees come down to the right, keep them there this time. If it feels okay for your knees and your back, place your right foot, that's your bottom foot, on top of the left knee. So this is your modified recline twist. Very subtle twist in the spine, but no compression around the navel. Let's lower right leg down, lift the right leg, left leg will follow, and moving over to the left side. Again, if it's available for you, place your left ankle to the outside of the right knee. Option to turn your head to the right. Lowering left leg down. Inhale those knees back to center. So coming into the pregnant variation of Shavasana, roll onto your left side. I'll roll onto my right so that you don't have my back facing you. So use your arm as a pillow. You might like to use your pillow, your block or your bolster in between the legs, maybe both knees are bent, or you might prefer to straighten your bottom leg and just bend the top leg, keeping that supported by your prop. Feel free to close the eyes down. And once again, take your loving breath down towards your baby. And tapping into a sense of gratitude for the blessing inside you. And begin to inhale a little deeper now as you guide your awareness back. Begin to swallow if the mouth is dry, or run your tongue over the teeth. And in your own time, gently bringing yourself up to seated. Bringing the hands to prayer at the heart center, Anjali Mudra. Raising the hands to the third eye center for clarity of thought. Lower fingertips to the lips for purity and honesty in our speech. And hands to the heart center for love and compassion in all that we do. Namaste. Thanks, yogis. I hope you enjoyed the class and you're feeling good in your body. So a couple of things to keep in mind if you do attend a general yoga class. No twisting. So a twist is okay if it's an open twist like what we've practiced in the class, but anything that's going to compress the navel is a no-go. Also, no prone poses, so no laying on the belly. If you're in a class and they're practicing their cobra poses or their sphinx poses, then you can always practice your tabletop position, moving through your back bend or settling down into child's pose. And as mentioned at the beginning of the class, honor your energy levels. They will change drastically. You want to be leaving a class feeling spacious and relaxed, not depleted and drained. So if you enjoyed the class, please subscribe to the channel. It's a great way to support free yoga on YouTube. I wish you all the best with your pregnancy, birth and beyond. Have a lovely day.